Alright y'all, so welcome back to another video. We had some really nice days for a while, but back to freezing out here now. Although it's supposed to get a little bit better as the week progresses. But this is a pair of Doc Martin boots. Picked these up from the Goodwill bins last week. They probably cost kind of heavy. Let's just say $4. They sold in a few days for $35 plus shipping. Alright, so I don't watch a lot of tennis, although obviously I know about Venus, Serena Williams in the women's part of it. But I do know about Rafael Nadal. I found a jacket from him up in Oregon. This is probably maybe like 5 years ago. It sold for $100 almost immediately. I say all that to say because I found some shorts from him. These on the surface look like basic Nike training shorts, but upon some further research, I found out they were from his line that he has with Nike. 50 cents from the Goodwill bins, and they sold pretty quick for $25 plus shipping. So I got more shoes to show you guys. These are already plastic wrap. I usually plastic wrap all of my shoes just so I can store them with the plastic wrap from Costco. And probably about 3 years ago, I got a super funny review from a customer. And so I had sent him the shoes. They were plastic wrapped, and he left a review and said that the shoes came pretty sturdy, packaged real well, but he told me that I packaged the shoes like I was shipping cocaine. And so every time I ship or wrap one of these shoes, I always think about that review that was left years ago. But anyway, these are some Vans from the Goodwill outlet, $3. They sold for $20 plus shipping. Alright, so this was actually somebody's throwback at the Goodwill outlet, and not surprising, usually bigger shoes, bigger hoodies, bigger jackets. Typically, for whatever reason, people, I think it's really for two reasons. One is, a lot of times people think the big sizes don't sell, and then two, a lot of times with the bins raising their prices literally everywhere, people don't want to pay for the heavier stuff, and if it's worth it, to me, I'd pick it up regardless. But anyway, this is one of those North Face. It's a vintage Denali jacket, and it's a men's 3X, so maybe that's what deterred somebody from picking it up. But anyway, I grabbed it because I didn't see a reason why it wouldn't sell, and this was just last week, so probably like $4 on the buy cost to be conservative, and it sold almost instantly for $59 plus shipping. So this is an Army flame resistant combat shirt. I usually pick these up every single time that I find them down at the bins. You usually can get them for under $1.50. Now they don't sell for a ton, but they, dropping it, they do sell for pretty consistently rather. But anyway, if you kind of want to see what it looks like in case you're out there, it has like the, I guess, the Velcro on the sleeves. But anyway, like I said, $1.50 on the buy cost. It sold for $10 plus shipping. Alrighty, so this is a bundle order. This customer spent $37 just flat with shipping and everything included, and she got 2 pair of these Nike Pro. These are the crop compression leggings. She also picked up this Lululemon sports bra. And yeah, so these all came from the bins. These probably barely weigh a little bit over a pound, all three combined. So I spent maybe, let's just say $2 for all of it. And so $37 all in, it's a deal for me. And she got a pretty good deal on her end. All right, so nothing special here. This is just a basic pair of Under Armour compression crop tights, probably 75 cents from the Goodwill bins. And they sold for $14.39 plus shipping. The reason the price is kind of weird because I think these were on like a 10 to 15% off sale. So this is a Jackson Hole, Wyoming sweatshirt. If I can kind of get it held up so you guys can kind of see the print. But anytime I find anything from Jackson Hole, whether it be an Under Armour t-shirt, a sweatshirt, in this case right here, it usually sells up pretty quick. And this probably cost $1.50 from the bins, and it sold under a month for $15 plus shipping. So this is a Detroit Red Wings. It's a windbreaker pullover jacket, and here's the brand. I found this down at the Goodwill bins. It's probably been maybe like 3 or 4 months now, so I have sat on this one for a while, but really cheap, less than $2, and it finally sold for $20 plus shipping. Alright, so the first time I found this brand, it's called Homage. Initially I thought the items that came from this brand were vintage, but a viewer actually told me that this company actually makes vintage stuff that's actually not vintage, if that makes sense. But anyway, this is a Michigan, or no, it's an Ohio State beat Michigan sweatshirt, and it's from Homage, which I think is based in Ohio, and $2 on the buy cost right here, and it sold for $22 plus shipping. I know a lot of people don't pick up J. Crew anymore, but for me personally, I've been selling it at 100 miles an hour. Not for a ton of money, but I've been selling it fairly consistently. So these are some chino pants from the bin, so probably cost $1.50, and they are a men's 36, 32, and usually I can pick slacks up for, like I said, under like $2. These sold pretty quick for $10 plus shipping. Again, I'm selling polos, sometimes like flannels, and they're not selling for a ton of money, but they are selling pretty consistently. So if you've been watching, I've been telling you guys my journey of picking up stuff with custom embroideries. I've really started doing that a year or two ago, and that's worked out quite well. If the brand is reputable, if it's Patagonia, Carhartt, that particular embroidery doesn't even have to have movement on it. I'll just pick it up and sell it, and a lot of those situations, it doesn't really matter. So Patagonia, I believe this is a better sweater. It has custom embroidery. I don't think there's any significance as far as this being a really reputable brand. Maybe it is, but when I couldn't find really anything on it, so I picked it up and figured I would just sell it and allow somebody to figure out if they wanted to pick it up or not. Goodwill bins pick up $2 and didn't sell for a ton, but I got 13 plus shipping out of it. All right, so I got a couple of notable items that I found at the Goodwill bins this week. And you guys see me wear a ton of Oregon stuff. They're my team, but I don't think I've mentioned a ton on this channel. I actually went to this college right here. It's Texas State. So it's located right in the middle of Austin and San Antonio. I'm from DFW, and so once I left that area, I bolted down there and was here from 2008 all the way to 2010. A ton of memories down there. We actually went down there from Oregon in 2020. I got the chance to take my kids down there. That was pretty cool, but found this jersey down at the bins, and I thought it was pretty ironic. So it's a men's XL. I can't actually fit this one, and I already have a jersey similar to this. So I figured I would sell this one, and usually something like this probably can get probably like somewhere between 30 to 40 on it. And buy cost probably like $1.50 in case you don't know the bins pricing. And this I thought was pretty cool, and never even heard of it. I think it's Sailor International. It's a basketball jersey. I'm always intrigued anytime I find jerseys, even if it's not something sort of like Nike or Adidas. I'll always pick it up just to kind of see if there's any movement. And so in this case, this had a really good sale rate, and it actually sold for a decent amount. I think Comps has something like this selling somewhere between 60 to 80 bucks, and didn't have any prior knowledge before I found this one last week. So this brand is called Destinations. There it is, and it's just basically a John Deere sort of a windbreaker pullover jacket. I found this down at the bins probably a couple of months ago. It's pretty light, probably I would say under $2, and I got 30 plus shipping out of it. So this is a pair of Patagonia baggies for women, Goodwill bin special, and these actually had paint on them, and a lot of people, I found a ton of these over the years. When they have paint on them, people just throw them back. But if you just get the item up wet a little bit, take like a butter knife and just kind of scrape, the paint literally scrapes right off of it, and then these are good as new. And so that's what happened in this situation. Really cheap, was able to get the paint off, 50 cents on the buy cost, and I got 25 plus shipping out of them. Alright y'all, so it's getting pretty cold out here. Like I said at the beginning of the video, it's been cold, but I've kind of pushed through it. So this is where I'm gonna cut the video off at. I appreciate y'all for coming along with me. If you got anything out of it, like it, consider subscribing to the channel. I'll catch y'all right back here on the next one. Succeed.
This might be all that I know. Think it's okay. I've got a long way to grow. At my own pace. Go the long way. No one taught me how to walk, but I figured it out fine.